Wow, this is the first time I'll be going live on my um, YouTube page, and I'm just trying it out and see how it goes. So I hope you enjoyed this live. So I made some research about free courses that you can study at Harvard University, and I thought I should just go live instead of doing the normal recordings on and then posting, so I can be able to just read from my notes, and that's why I'm going live this evening. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do so. Yes, and I'm waiting for you to do that. Yes, you did it. I had that click. Thank you for always subscribing. Um, I really appreciate your support over the month, and I promise to give you good content from this YouTube channel. Once again, thank you for joining. So I don't know, I'm really excited about doing this live. I've never done it before on YouTube, so I'm excited, and I hope that whatever information I'm going to read out from my research will be of benefit to you. Yeah. So Americans have $5,000 or less in savings, and 35% have $1,000 or less. A study done in Jamaica confirmed that for 37% of Jamaicans, it was not all possible or not very possible, to quickly come up with about 3,000 Jamaican dollars, which is the equivalent of $187 in the event of emergency. Yeah, according to the research, most Jamaicans actually said they would have to borrow money for emergency. So you can imagine having to borrow money for when you have emergency, and not use, something that you save for. Did you also know that 1 in 10 Brits have absolutely no savings? Yeah. And to make matter worse, 47%, 41% of Brits do not have enough saved to survive in 1 month if they were to lose their income. I used to work in corporate. I used to witness ladies with well manicured and pedicured nails. I mean, well manicured with, nicely laid lashes that were protruding and freshly installed. And they would come to my desk trying to borrow 100,000 naira to pay for debts. So you can imagine borrowing 100,000 naira currency to pay for debt. That doesn't make sense. I would also notice staff members posing on social medias for the hottest weekend parties, and by Thursday they will say that they don't have money to come back to work on Friday. So you see people go to clubs, go have fun, go drink, buy the best drink, and online, just to post pictures, just to have fun, and then they really do not have money to come back to work the next weekend, the next Friday. So the question is it lack of discipline? Is it lack of priority? Or is it that we just don't make enough to be able to save? Whatever the reason is, this video I'm about to make right now, it is for you. Yeah, my YouTube family. So it's great to having you, and you are yet to part of the family on YouTube. You can hit the subscribe button, and I had mentioned that earlier. So I really appreciate if you're still just joining us right now to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today in this video, I will be sharing tips. I'll be sharing tips that you can use to save a lot of money, and to do so relatively fast. Yeah, I have leveraged these tricks over the years, and quite frankly, they have worked very well for me, which is why I'm super excited with sharing these ideas with you guys today. Now, it is recommended that we save 50% of our income, and as I've said repeatedly on my videos, I would rather prefer to save like maybe 30%, even when I earn, the normal minimum wage. That would have been something I would do, and something I still do. So now when you talk about tricks to saving, there are some obvious things like budgeting, money management. We're not going to be talking about all of that today. All of those ones, those are not Those are not really tricks. Those are principles. I'm really going to share some little things that we overlook that can increase the amount we save exponentially. Now, all that said, let's jump right into it. Now, so I'm sharing these tricks to save money with you. I'm going to share first the more obvious ones that you may not be familiar with, and I'm going to go to the unconventional more ones as well. So make sure you stay tuned for the full video so you can witness this trick. So now let's go. Now, the first method that I've used successfully to save a lot is to treat my savings like a bill. You heard that right? Treat your savings like a bill. Now, I actually pay my bills last, so this may not be the best example for me, but for most of you out there, I know you pay your bills first. If you start treating your savings like a bill, it means that you're going to take it out and make it a priority before you spend money doing anything else. So that means as soon as you get paid, your savings should be a priority to you before even thinking about paying your bills. You should be thinking about how much am I going to, before now, you should have already made up your mind about how much you're going to be saving every month. So the first thing on your mind should be how much am I going to put into this my savings? Yeah, before you do anything else with your money. When you treat saving money like a bill, it is no longer an option. It's a mandate. And if it's a mandate, you're going to keep to that mandate. Yeah. So what you end up doing is you set up salary deductions to ensure that it is taken from your pay before it enters your hand. So that means before the money gets to your hand, before the money you get to receive the money, you already set a standard. We used to call it standing order. You have a standing order on your account that the money goes directly into. If you are self-employed, you can have a standing order. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, you can have that. So when the money hits your account, it is pulled out and is put into whatever place that you're saving. It's in the same way you would pull it out to pay your bill. The great thing about treating your savings like a bill is this: when you pay your electricity bill, you don't expect to get it back. When you pay your bills, do you expect to get it back? No, absolutely no. Do you? When you pay your water or your cable or your internet bill, it does not come back to you. It is gone. So same thing that applies to your savings. If you take your savings seriously and there's a standing order on the account and it goes in there, it doesn't come back to you. It's already there. Yeah. If you start seeing your savings the same way, meaning you put it there and you forget about it, you can't get it back. You end up leaving it there, forgetting it, and allowing it to grow when you invest. When you invest it. Yeah. Quite frankly, the only time you should touch your saving is when you're taking it because it has reached a certain amount and you're now about to make a decision as it pertains to what you're going to invest or where you're going to invest it in. Yeah, that's the only time you have to go touch your savings. When you know and you're sure that this is the time to invest all that you saved, at this particular time, number of years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. Now you decide, okay, I'm going to take out this money for something. You go ahead and do it. That's the only time you should reach out to it. The next trick to significantly increase your saving is to refinance your mortgage or your loans. Now, let me give you an example for the main residence that you live in right now, or the mortgage that your mortgage. Let's say your mortgage has like 9%, and you notice that the interest rate in the market is reducing. That's really a great time, to renegotiate with your bank. You can renegotiate at 9% interest. Let's say your mortgage was at 31,300 per month. When you renegotiate, you can get the 9% interest to 5%, and your mortgage can be reduced to 26,200 per month. Yeah, that's savings of about 5,100 per month. And here's the thing: if you still have a mortgage that in that property, you know what? with the current interest rate, which is down to about 5%, you would have gone right back to the bank and renegotiated it down again further. That's thinking fast. That's smart thinking, you know, and it will mean that your new mortgage would have been about 21,400, which would be an incremental of 48,000 now. You obviously will pay off your debt by now, but I'm sharing this with you because you may have an opportunity to go in and renegotiate, even if you have not done so already, because the interest rate in every market globally is reducing for the most part. Yes, the interest rate is reducing. Now let me show you how much you would have been saved from our example by going in and negotiating from 9% to 7% interest, and then to 5%. That would have worked out to be about 99,000 per month, and about 600 per month or 660 per month, invested for about 30 years, which would probably be close to when you finally gonna retire, and equate to about $80,000. Do you realize that it would have been done to accumulate this? Do you realize how much? Do you realize that all you would have done to accumulate this 80,000 is just to have renegotiated and refinance your mortgage? And as such, your savings 600 per month refinancing has amazing upside. Now you can do the same thing for your vehicle loans if you want to. And whenever you go, don't spend the money that you're saving. Take it out and invest it. Watch it grow, and it will completely change your life. As soon as you're done with this video, I want you to pick up your phone, call your bank and ask them for what is the current rate. And then you look at the terms of your agreement, assess the rate, interest rate. And if your bank is not willing to reduce your interest rate to be more in line with what's out there in the market, go to another bank. You have the choice to go to another bank. Shop around. You have that responsibility to get the best deal out there for yourself, because believe me, the banks are taking serious advantage whenever they can. Yeah, you need to play them against each other. Now, the second method that you can use successfully to save a lot of money is to quantify your expenditure into working hours. Guys, I know how that sounds. That sounds confusing, but this is exactly why we use this example. And the example I'm going to be using today is going to be how you can use calories and exercise to try to stop you from eating things you're not supposed to. If one of your favorite things to eat is beef patty and a nice warm cocoa bread with the butter melted, in the middle of it. You guys know what I'm talking about, actually. So research tells me that this patty and cocoa bread that you love so much has 467 calories, and it's going to take you about 30 minutes of breadless training to burn 460 calories. So whenever the patty and cocoa bread is tempting you, you always have to think to yourself, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Is it worth burning these calories? This is it. Basically, you're basically giving up one day of workout to work out by eating that. Anyway, guys, I've never wanted to do what I do. Please do what I say. I don't want you to do what I do. I want you to do what I say, especially when it comes to dieting. Personally, my discipline as it pertains to food is definitely not the same as it pertains to other things else and any other thing in my life. And I don't even know how to explain it, but it is what it is. Now let me know how I use the same. Now let me show you how I use the same strategy as it pertains to savings. And funny enough, when I do it for savings, I am disciplined 100% of the times. Now let's say, e.g., you earn $20 per hour, and you see a nice pair of shoes, that is really attracting to you. That's $100. You think to yourself, that's 5 hours of work, and those shoes really worth it? When you dine out at the restaurant, you know let's say your average bill is about $50, and your salary, because you live in a developing territory, and is about $5 per hour or the equivalent. It means that for you to spend that $50 dining out, it's 10 hour worth of work. Is it really worth it? 10 hour work worth of work, if you spend that money. Absolutely not. At least in my opinion, unless it's a treat or a celebration before you can be able to want to spend that kind of money. You know. So going back to what I said earlier, this is how I quantify my expenditure with working hours or with commitment of time to make money. What I find is when I approach my expenditure that way, for the most part, I make better decisions because I'm able to evaluate these things I'm about to acquire. Does it worth it? Does it worth the effort that I have to put to get it? You know. So now the next trick to save a lot of money is very unconventional. You're going to think, Prince, what are you think? What are you thinking about? Yeah, but be patient with me by unsubscribing. The next thing is by unsubscribing to retailer emails that you get. You're actually able to save more money. Trust me, artificial intelligence is real. Do not underestimate its power. You know, that reminds me, there was a story I wrote that said there was one morning, um, I was here doing some research on the internet about where is the best place to live in the world, and if there was an apocalypse, and I saw Iceland as being an option. So I said to Alexa, which is the echo that we all have on our phone. I said, Alexa, what's the temperature in Iceland? That's all I did. Did you know that for the entire day, whenever I search something on Google, what will pop up on the right hand side in the art were winter jackets or winter clothing, and as well as luggage. Because obviously the artificial intelligence that was listening to me talking to Alexa assumed I wanted to go on a victory vacation, you know, on the Iceland. I also realized that the emails I was getting from retailers like Ralph Lauren and those that I've shopped with, they were about winter clothing or something that was appropriate for the temperature that were in Iceland. Artificial intelligence is real. And what it's going to do is based on your search patterns online, based on your overall interactions on the internet. So it gives you suggestions based on your interactions online. And that can be tempting. So it's gonna try to predict what you need, what your needs are, and you're gonna start getting emails that align to your needs. And here's the thing, guys: 90% of the time, it gets it right. It just gets it right. How it does it, I don't know. So you're sitting there after you Google in clothing for your children, and you're gonna find that all the emails that are coming from retailers over the next few days is gonna show clothing for your children. Trust me. You know, if you unsubscribe to retailer emails, it moves that temptation. Yes, it does. You're still gonna go online and see it anyways, but it's not gonna pop up in your face in your emails. You know, believe me, you're gonna underestimate what I'm saying, but take it from me that it really helps. And if there's no temptation, your likelihood or probability to spend is less, and your ability to save is more. It's as simple as that. Now we move over to the next trick, which is to reduce impulsive spending. Reduce your impulsive spending. Now, do you ever realize that sometimes you go to the market and you have lists on your phone or you have a physical list, yet you end up going up to the aisle with things that are not on your list? That's because you're drifting. You're simply just slowly walking in the supermarket, and what ends up happening is you buy something you didn't plan to, something you never planned to buy. You know, you spend more than you have. You know, you spend more than you have what you already planned to. It was unbelievable. It's the same way you go to the mall, you go to buy something specific that should fit in one bag. By the time you're leaving, you have 6 bags. You're wondering what the world happened. you know that's because you were drifting. Impulsive buying. It's harder than we think to stop impulsive buying. You know why? Because that's a psychological impact on us. you know it has been proven that shopping can actually be addictive because it releases a door for um, some kind of disease in your brain. I can't remember the name right now. And you guys know that. You know what dopamine does. The issue, the issue though, is that there are a lot of people out there who think that dopamine is actually released when you get reward or when you actually buy an item. No, scientists have proven that it is an anticipation leading to leading up to you getting that reward or buying that item that causes dopamine to be released in your brain. Yeah. So knowing that it's not actually buying, this mouse that I'm holding right now, knowing that it's not actually buying this mouse and getting it at your hand, that causes you to feel that nice feeling that dopamine gives you, but it's ordering the mouse online and anticipating his arrival. So it's not about you buying the thing. It's the anticipation of his arrival that causes the dopamine. And or walking around the store anticipating finding what I'm looking for to buy that causes it. It means we can stop it whenever you get the urge to buy something. Sleep on it. You can either walk away or do something else and come back. The urge will go away. Yeah. I needed that. I needed that whenever you're in a position to control impulsive spending, you'll be able to. You'll be able to. I just got a message. I don't know what that message. So I needed that whatever you are in position to control impulsive spending, you'll be able to save so much more and to save it quickly. Because if you are able to go back and evaluate what you spend in a year and look at how much of it you had planned to spend, you'll be amazed by the results. So if you go back to check all that you spent in a year by just doing impulsive buying, you'll be amazed. Back in the days when I was in my 20s, I had some big goals, and as such, I wanted to maximize my savings. And to do that, I didn't take vacations. I basically didn't do anything to pamper myself. Now, because of that, when I got to the point where I had achieved the big goal that I was saving for, I was still stuck in that mindset where I didn't know how to step away to enjoy the hard work that I was putting in, but definitely wasn't enjoying it. I felt some amount of guilt when it came to spending money on myself. Yeah, I know a lot of it has been happening to a lot of you where you can just not be able to just take care of yourself the way you want to, and because of that, I didn't want to go on vacation because I was thinking, oh, but this person needs help. This person needs money for this, this person needs this and that. I need to put aside. I need to put aside for when this happens. There were always issues, that was surrounding me, and with my savings, I had to just make sure that I apportioned this, and that guilt led me to live a very monotonous life in my 20s. Yeah. So if you're struggling with discipline issues to put money aside, open an account that you have no access to. That's the best advice. Open an account that you do not have an access to. From an online perspective, do not get an ATM card that is attached to that account. You need to be able to make it hard for you to accept that money and putting some compulsory savings or some standing order and put the money over there and forget about it until you need to go and pull it off to invest in something. Because remember, saving money in any regular bank account will not see your money growing or benefiting you. I repeat that again. Saving your money in any bank account will not see growth, or it will not benefit you so much. It's only when you invest it, when you're able to gather and invest it. And I'm going to talk about that later on. Now, the next trick to saving a lot of money is to save it with an instrument that have penalties for you to withdraw. So when you work so hard for it and you put it somewhere, and the person who is in charge of it, like the institution or your financial advisor, says, in order for you to pull down on it, you're going to lose 15%. How does that make you feel? As an example, it's somewhat of deterrent. Would you agree when you put money in like a pension fund? It does have some penalties for early withdrawal if it allows it. That's if it actually allows it to. There's some penalties for it. So if you're struggling as it pertains to having enough discipline to save, try to save or invest in instruments that will prohibit you from pulling down on it without consequences. Yeah. Now the next way to save a lot of money is to eliminate debt that costs you money. Remember that there's good debt, there's bad debt, there's some debt that will make you more money and some that will cost you money as well. Don't worry about the ones that are making you money. The focus should be on the ones that are costing you money. So if you think about the amount of interest that you're having to pay on a typical debt, and you were to put that in an investment, you would be amazed by the result. Just go just go back to your loan document and look at what it's costing you to service each one of your loans. Meaning that meaning what percentage of your payment is interest, and think about saving that or investing that amount, and just imagine what the result could look like. Trust me. Now I know we don't always have the money to go and pay off our debts, so that we can save the interest that we are paying. You can refinance your loans, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have enough money to pay for it. And you can take the avalanche approach, which is when you identify those loans that have the highest interest rates, and start paying down those first, which means you'll be able to save more because you will knock out the higher interest rate once first. You can also leverage instrument like personal line of credit, which does which does make sense in some part of the world where the interest rate is a lot lower, and you can use that personal line of credit to consolidate your loans and end up paying less from an interest perspective as well. Once you're free from paying interest on your debt, you can take that money, you save it, don't spend it. Now the next trick, don't spend that money. Now the next trick to saving a lot of money and to saving it fast is to stop your addictive habit. So if you have an addictive habit, stop it. Now I'm going to be talking about the addictive habit. Now whether the habit is smoking, gambling, mannerizing, if there's such a thing. I'm using mannerizing as the opposite of humanizing. Drinking a lot of coffee, party, whatever it is, you can stop it. These things are hindering your savings. Don't overindulge in parties. Instead of every week, try to do it once per month. Go out for drinks with your friends once per month. No, not every week you're going out to drink. You know, as a matter of fact, you're not supposed to even do it to begin with, but you're doing you, and I'm not here to judge you. The big risk is that in 2024, multiple girlfriends often lead to you spending a lot of money. And multiple girls can lead to multiple children, and that's even more expensive to have a lot of children. And you're going to be spending money to take care of those children. You know, now many of you out there drink coffee, and you do so every day, and a lot of you might do it from the popular Starbucks. A Starbucks coffee on an average will cost about $3.50. That works out to be $105 per month on average. So if you stop buying that cup of coffee at Starbucks, or maybe you make some at home, let's say you invest it for 40 years at 7% interest per annum, because you're in 20s. By the time you retire, just by not buying that cup of coffee each day, $3 per 50 cents, you're going to actually accumulate $27,300 US dollars. You guys just heard what I said, just by giving up coffee. So when you get a handle on your addictive habit and manage them accordingly, you're going to be amazed by the amount of money that you can save. Yeah, you'll be so shocked of the amount of money you're going to be saving. Now, the next trick to saving a lot of money is an obvious one, I will say, but many people don't even know how to approach it. It is to reduce utility costs. If you have internet, do you really need cable? Because you can stream different things. Yeah, you can watch YouTube and learn and get entertained by it as well. So you really need to determine, do you really need to have cable bill if you already have an internet? I don't think you do, but that's your decision. The next question I have to ask you is, do you really need a house phone? Some of you have it. Does it really ring sometimes? I can't tell the last time it rang. But some of you have it because of security system. So it's part of the requirement. Do you really need one, or is it an expense that you can do without? And for phone bills, some of you have really high phone bills, but there's usually a better package out there, and a lot of us have postpaid phones. There are usually a lot of cheaper package out there. You need to make your research. Some of you have prepaid and postpaid phones. Do you really need it? Find a way to reduce your electricity bill $1,200 per month to $500 per month. Now the next thing to save a lot of money is to carry lunch to work and eat out less. Yeah. So if you're in the habit of not taking lunch to work, you should really rethink about it. Now instead of buying lunch, you start bringing lunch from home from your leftover dinner. I remember back then what I used to do is when I used to work in the office, basically, is I would normally eat for dinner, and because it's a late meal, I just split it into two, and I would have taken the rest for lunch throughout my entire career. It didn't even cost me so much more. So let's assume you're able to save all of that $10 you spend in lunch per day, which is $300 per month. If you're in your 20s and you invest it in an index fund, by the time you retire at age 65, means you would have invested it for 45 years. You would be a US millionaire in $1.1 million. Is what you would have accumulated if you were in your 30s. You know why? Because you're able to leverage the power of compound interest, which is one of the seven wonders of the world. Like one of my YouTube family member would say, the world already has seven wonders anyway, so it must be the eighth wonder of the world. Actually, it's really, guys. Now, as it pertains to eating out less, I'm not going to say don't eat out. I'm saying instead of eating out 2 or 3 times per week, going to fast food or in a restaurant, do it once per week, probably on a Friday. You just go out to eat on a Friday. You know, instead of going every time. Also, instead of ordering an appetizer and dessert, just do the main course and eat something light before you leave home. So that means if you're going to a restaurant to eat, instead of ordering the appetizer and the dessert, you just eat something light at home. So that when you go there, you're going to be ordering for just the main course. So you get to the restaurant with a slightly full stomach, and it reduces what you order when you're sitting there and looking through the menu because you're less hungry. Yeah. So when you do that, you end up spending less. The average household in the US currently spends about $452,000 on food outside of their home every year. That's a lot of money. Listen, buying lunch a few times a week on the road may seem harmless to you, but it does add up over time. So when you keep doing it, it adds up over time. You know, especially if that restaurant that you're going to. Hello, thank you for joining. Yeah, thank you for joining. I'm just trying to do a live video. I've never done a live video before, so I'm trying to do a live video on my YouTube. And just reading from my notes that I wrote down. Yeah, yeah. So like I was saying, so especially that restaurant that you're going to is far away because you're not spending money to buy food. You're actually spending money on gas. So the money you have spent on gas to go buy food can be saved. You know, and you're also losing time, which is a non-renewable resources. I don't think you realize it, but you can actually buy a solid week worth of groceries, usually for what you pay for 2 dinners eating out. Yeah. So now the next trick to saving a lot of money is to do more things yourself. Learn to do your facials. Don't be, a lot of people pay people to do facials. Learn to do it yourself. You can just apply moisturizer, manage your own skincare regime. I remember prior to the pandemic, you would go to the barber and cut your hair and look sharp. Now, during the pandemic, if you had a clipper and you started using it to cut your hair, the best way you could, you would, the best way you could, trust me, was to be able to save significantly. You will, you know. So if you spent about maybe 1,200 on average, which is the equivalent of 80 per month. Now, let's say that you've saved that 80 per month from going to the barber into an index fund for 15 years, you would have accumulated $25,000. Now, what's amazing about that is that 25,000 is that $14,000 of it, which is more than a half, comes from compound interest, which means you didn't contribute that amount. You just accumulated in value because you're able to get interest on interest, which is what is compound interest. That will bring a lot of interest. Isn't that really interesting? Okay. The point is, you can do more things yourself. Some things you may not know how to do it. Yeah. As I'm talking about compound interest, it leads me to the next trick that I have used, and you can see, and you can use to save a ton of money and leverage compound interest on your savings. Now, if you don't know what compound interest is, basically the interest that you get on your interest. So as you're getting better using these tricks to save, it's very important to invest that what you're saving so you can get money to work for you. The issue is when you leave your money in a regular bank, the percentage is low, you know, because of the inflation. So let's say if your money is making less than 1% inflation, 1%, and inflation, meaning prices out there are increasing per year by 5 to 6%, it means that your money is depreciating in value when you leave it in the savings account. Also, between fees and all the other things I have shared in previous video, what you should not save money is that you should not save money in the bank. You need to avoid that situation. You also cannot leverage compound interest by using regular bank account because you won't make enough interest for it to compound and matter for the most part. Yeah. Now let me give you an example of how you can leverage compound interest to save more using the same launch money strategy. Again, you're taking your $10 per day that you would have spent on lunch and you invest it, which is 300 per month. When you invest that 300 per month for 45 years and you get that $1 million you need, did you know that you would have only contributed 162,000, meaning out of pocket, would have put into that investment only 162,000? The difference, which is almost $1 million, is strictly coming from compound interest. Isn't that amazing? You understand? You know why? It's considered as the eighth wonder of the world. That's why it's considered as the eighth wonder of the world. You know. Now the next trick to saving a lot of money is to ask for discount. Yeah, ask for discount. A lot of people don't do that. And if you're able to pay cash to get that discount as opposed to buying with credit card, if there's an opportunity for you to leverage that method, you should also do so. The thing is, you never know until you ask. You never know there's discounts until you ask. I also buy on special. When you call to buy, you like, let's say you want to call to buy for pizza. You know, the first thing you should ask is what's the special for today, and then when they tell you, now ask them what is the cost of what I wanted to order versus the special, and if you do that, you would definitely go for the best price. You know that for sure. You need to take advantage of lunch specials, dinner specials, any special out there at all. Take advantage of it. Never shy away from it, and do not be afraid to use coupons or cards, because the money that you're saving by getting that discount or leveraging those specials will increase the amount you save. Yeah. So that moves me to the next trick. The next trick is try to look for a remote job. Yeah, look for a remote job. Remote jobs are really okay. It helps you save money. You know, the number one reason that will help you is the commuting cost. The average commuter spends between $3,000 and $15,000 on transportation costs a year. That's on a year. Yeah, welcome to my channel. I'm just trying to do a live video. I've never done a live video on YouTube before. So, and I have a note I'm actually reading from. So, yeah. So, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. So, the average is you spend in a year is about 15 to 3,000. Commuting by car costs more than commuting by public transport. But either way, traveling to and fro the office really adds up. you know. So the next one is gas. The price of gas has skyrocketed, in some states. As many people head back, go to their offices every day, feeling the crunch. They are really feeling the crunch right now. The average commuter travels about 39 miles per day, and some people commuting much more. And all that driving means filling up. You need to fill up your gas. You know, a lot. For example, if you commute 10 miles one way for work and you work in the office 5 days a week, you probably fill up once a week. If you get 20 miles per gallon, the average price of gas is, let's say, is 4 point maybe at that time maybe 4.50 a gallon. You spend close to 1,188 a year just on gas alone. That's a lot of money. However, if you work from home even 2 weeks, you will spend 756 a year, saving you $432. as a remote worker, you spend a lot less on gas, and you won't spend zero. You won't spend zero, of course. Of course, there are still errands to just run where at home. You still need to run a few errands, road trips to take, but you won't spend nearly as much because your commute is as close as your home office, and you certainly won't be extreme commuting. You'll be commuting that far distance because the areas you begin to are just areas within your area. You understand? So the next one is car maintenance. Owning a car is about more than filling the gas tank. Yeah, there's maintenance too, oil changes, tire rotations, all other regular and unexpected maintenance. Tax you do help to keep your car safe, cost money too as well. While different types of cars like electric um, have different annual expenses, vehicle owners could expect to spend an average of 9,561 to own and operate a new car. It is important to note, however, that this estimate you assume you drive more than 50,000 miles a year as a remote worker. The odds are pretty good that you're driving far less than that. The less you drive, the less wear and tear you add to your vehicle, and the less wear and tear often you have to pay for maintenance. While that's not necessarily a cost saving, you still have to change the oil regularly. You can spread your expenses out over a longer period of time, and the less you drive your car, the longer it will likely last, saving you the expense of replacing your ride before you're ready. So if you work remotely, you don't have any need to be going out anyhow every day to work. It actually helps save your car lifespan. you know so that leads me to also saying that car insurance, you've probably seen the car insurance commercials advertising their low cost plans and affordable insurance rate. But did you know that if you work from home all the time, you might be able to score lower insurance rates permanently? So if you're working from home, you're able to score low insurance rate permanently. When you sign up for a car insurance policy, the provider will ask you how far you commute. Generally, people commute to and from work when there are more people on the road. More people on the road usually leads to, you guess, it leads to more accidents. hmm That in turn means you pay a higher insurance rate because the odds are higher when you get accidents. Of course, we are not praying for accidents, but you're going to pay higher because when you're always on the run, a lot of people are on the road, driving too as well. You could probably have an accident, and they'll calculate all of that into their policy. You know, equally, it is equally important though as the amount of time you spend on the road commuting. Generally, when you sign up for the company asks you, yeah, what's your annual mileage and your commuting mileage. These are two different numbers. Your annual mileage is how much you drive your car in a year, no matter the reason. Your commuting mileage is how much you drive your car for your job. The higher your commuting mileage, the longer you're on the road, and the more likely is that you will have an accident. If you drive less than 5,000 miles a year for work, you could qualify for a lower insurance rate. This will depend on your total annual mileage, but not commuting to work will help lower your mileage, which could result in a cheaper insurance rate for you. Yeah, it does help. For real, it does help. The next one is public transportation. By now, you'll probably be thinking public transportation is the way to go. Well, don't be so sure. Public transportation is never the best way to go. First, not every community has safe and reliable public transportation, and sometimes even when public transportation is available, it's not always an option due to schedules or locations. You know, in major metropolitan cities, you've got options. You also need a lot of cold hard cash. You know, people who relied on public transportation spent an average between $700 and $1,900 annually on public transportation costs, while significantly less expensive than commuting via car. Public transit still costs money. Working at home costs far less than all the transportation options. Working at home costs less, you know, for all the transportation options that you have out there. So the next one is clothes. Working in an office, even one with a casual dress code, means you need work clothes. So if you work in a corporate environment, you know that you need a lot of work clothes. That could mean suit, ties, business casual items, or other professional apparel. You know, in 2023, the average household spent 1,434 a year on apparel and services, meaning buying clothes and keeping it clean. Yeah, and the annual it keeps increasing every year. It keeps increasing, and since not everything can go in wash, you have to consider dry cleaning costs as well. Yeah, currently the dry cleaning prices are on the high side. You know, and I have a list of the current price. You know, let's say for your suit, you pay close to $10 to $15 to dry clean your dress. $10 to $18, pound five to $8, skirt $4 to $14, coat your coat $12 to $25, shirt $2 to $4. But depending on your industry, you may not have to just wear one suit a month or even every week. Yeah, you may have to wear suit every day. Yeah, it can really add up. Why you still need to buy and clean your clothing when you work at home? You probably don't need a closet full of suits and full of suits. For people who work from home, you don't need to buy a lot of things in your closet, because the things you're going to be using will not be a lot. It will just be normal stuff you wear. You could have things like khakis, yoga pants, jeans, casual tees. You know, it's even better you don't generally need to dry clean these kinds of clothing. You don't generally need to dry clean them. You know, throwing them in the wash on laundry day is usually good enough. So if you wear these clothes and you want to put them in the laundry, when you wake up, it's still the same. You don't need anything to iron. You don't need to do anything on the clothes. It's as really good as when you wear it. You know. Yeah, the next one is tax breaks. If you're a freelancer or a self-employed, there are some tax breaks that you're likely eligible for if you're a full-time employee who works remotely. Either all of some of the time, you may also be entitled to some tax breaks, but not necessarily the same as freelancer would. Yeah, tax breaks can include home office deduction, healthcare expenses, pass-through deduction, retirement, real salary. Yeah. Have you ever tried to place a value on the amount of time not spent commuting and what that means for your financial bottom line? Consider time spent commuting as part of your total workday. After all, the entire purpose of slogging to and from the office is to do your job. The average worker spends 27.6 minutes commuting one way or 55.2 minutes round trip. However, by working from home, the average former commuter could spend up to 264 few hours annually on a work-related activity, or about 33 fewer 8-hour workday every year. That's about 8,700 annually based on national salary average. Yeah, that moves on to the next step, the environment. Technically, this doesn't save you any money. The environment doesn't save you any money, but it does help save the environment, and that can be worth a lot more than extra dollars in your pocket. Globally, we saw a decline in greenhouse emissions when the pandemic hits, far back, as 2001 rolled around the world, you know, began to open up, things began to open up back up. This emission increased by 6.2%, yet with a rise, we still about 5% below the 2019 levels. As remote and hybrid work continues to become the norm, more positive environment impacts can be made. Yeah, I think I've said a lot of things. You know, we are on the conclusion part. Now that's it, my YouTube family. And if you have explored and exhausted all these tricks, and you find that you still cannot save money or save enough money, it simply means that you need another source of income. You need a side hustle. And I've shared videos. If you go to my page, you see a lot of videos that I've shared about side hustles that you can do. There are different ways, you know. Um, yeah, it simply means that you need a side hustle, yeah, that can help you make money online, make money by the side. Just make sure that you start earning that additional source of income. You actually save it and not spend it. So when you make that additional income, don't spend it. A lot of you, when you have money, that's when you think of buying one thing, that maybe something that will depreciate in value. You're just so eager. So when you receive that money, take your time and try to look for an investment that will last you for long, that will last you for yourself and also last for your family. Yeah, that's what you should be thinking of. You should be thinking of long-term investments. Yeah, and then after saving it accumulates to a certain amount. You invest it. Yeah, and I hope you find you find value in this video that I'm posting. And if you're still here after this very long video, I want you to at least comment on the comment section. Let me know that this video really blessed you, or you learned one or two from this video. I know you should learn one or two from this video. I mean, who would want to save money? Who Everybody want to save money. You know, want to save money to achieve what they want to achieve. Some people just sometimes just get lazy about it, or just forget the purpose of having the money. You know, it's not about saving the money. It's saving the money and investing it, because you can save the money and it's just there for you doing nothing. Some people sometimes just save money and they leave it there in the bank. At the end of the day, nobody knows about it, and maybe something happens and they die. Nobody knows about it. The family don't know about it. And what happens to that money? That money belongs to the bank because nobody has come forward to claim it. You know. So when you save money for a particular period of time, or even when you're saving money, let people also know. Let your family member or some a close person, next of kin, know that you have some savings in this account. So in case of anything that might happen, you already know that your money is safe. You already know that somebody's going to use your money to take care of either your family, or use your money to do something that's you've always wanted to achieve in life. So that's another advice. So whenever you want to save money, let people know that you're saving money in a particular place, in a bank or something. Eventually, unfortunately, maybe something will happen. I know that a lot of people has left their money in the bank. Their money is still in the bank, but they are gone. They are dead. So it is important that you do that. It's important that we cultivate the habit of saving. Saving to invest should be the target, should be the mindset. Not just saving to invest. Cut low on having to just be buying everything buyable, everything you just want to buy. Your body is just active on buying things. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Look for banks who can help you make a standing order on your account, so that as they do the standing order on your account, you're able to have a plan. Let's say you have a plan. Let's say you're going to do the plan for 5 years, or you're going to do the plan for 7 years, or something, depending on your capacity, or how long you intend to actually be in that company. Even if, yeah, even if you don't know, you can actually take your money out if you eventually leave the company, though. Yeah, but it's okay to um, make it sometimes not too long, so that you're able to get your money back, you know, and do what you want to do. So you look for those banks that are willing to help you save your money with a good interest rate, so that whenever you're able to save enough of that money, you can use that money and invest. Or you can ask questions about, you know, how you can be able to use your savings while it's there to be doing business. You know, meet your financial advisor. There are ways. Some banks have ways they do that, so that your money just don't lay in the bank like that. Your money is working for you. You know, so it's really important. You know, and our advice, like I mentioned earlier, our advice that you take remote jobs seriously. Like me, currently, I work as a remote worker. You know, as a tech person, I work as a remote worker. So I I rarely spend money on gas these days, because I'm no longer going out. It helps me preserve my car lifespan. You know, your car is in good form. You know, so it's really important you look at all of these things. You know, go online, do research, learn skills, ask questions about how to get remote jobs. I know of some sites that do that. Upwork do that constantly. You know, Favor do that. Remote tax do that. There are a lot of them that do that, where people are looking for people who can work remotely for them. You know, and they get paid. Some of them get paid with $5, some $10, some $25, some $30, some $50, just depending on what you're good at. Good at. Like for remote tax that I know somebody who is into coding, and the person makes $50 per an hour per task. So imagine doing $50 per tax, 50 hours per tax. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Everybody wants that. Everybody really wants to do that. That's a lot of money. My battery is almost going off, so I need to power this. I need to power my phone. I need to power my phone. I'm so sorry, guys. Give me a few minutes. Why are you not sleeping? I'm so sorry. Oh my god. I'm so sorry about my battery. Well, I didn't charge it earlier, so I guess it was time for it to let me go. So, yeah. So that, what was I saying? Yeah, there are a lot of people earning so much from coding. People are making money from coding. So that's one line you might want to look at if your interest is in tech. You know, data analysis. People are web developers. Those guys are making good money. Yeah. Is anybody commenting? Yeah. I'm just so happy to do this with you guys. You know, I've I've never done live. I've never done YouTube live. So I just thought to come live, and one of my notes that I made down for YouTube video and all of that. So I just decided to just do live and read from the script, you know. And I hope that I've been able to at least. Is this mic working? Oh no, it's no longer working. Oh my God! Can you hear me, guys? So, so and I hope that I've been able to at least, you know, add value to your life, because like I said on my YouTube channel, it's about impact for 2024. It's about helping people. I'm doing the best I can, you know, the best I can to help people because we need to make money this year. It's important that we make money. So thank you for watching my YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed, try to subscribe. Click on the subscribe button, turn on your notification, like, comment, share to just help me to be able to encourage me to be able to do this more and more because it helps. It helps in a kind of way. Thank you guys. I love you so much. Bye bye. How did they even end it? How did they end YouTube? Oh, how did they end YouTube live? Oh my God. Oh, what's happening? What's happening?